Today we're going to be installing the FunnyPlaying Q5 non-laminated screen for the Gameboy Color. This kit includes a screen, a bracket, a piece of adhesive, as well as 3 wires and a piece of backing for the back of the screen. To get started, let's go ahead and grab our shell. We'll be using an IPS ready shell for this mod. The very first thing that we have to do is cut away all of the tabs that are in place where the screen is. After removing all the pins, we can go ahead and test our screen and make sure it fits into place. We'll want to place it all the way to the right side and up to the top. That way we can make sure that it'll be centered in the viewing window. If it all looks good and it's in place, then we can go ahead and prepare our screen adhesive. We need to remove the center section of the adhesive by simply grabbing the edge and pulling in to help remove the center piece. Once it's removed, we can go ahead and align it in the shell. Make sure it all lines up good and you can take the backing off and place it. Look through from the front of the viewing window and make sure there's no adhesive visible from the front side. If there is, you may need to use an X-Acto knife or something similar to help remove the adhesive until it's no longer visible. Now we need to go ahead and prepare the screen to be placed on the adhesive. We need to first take off the film on the front of the screen. From there, we then need to go ahead and take the film off the back of the adhesive. We can then place the screen into the top right corner, making sure that it's aligned with the shell. With the screen placed, we can begin to solder onto the pads. Notice that the solder pads are away from the screen and not touching anything, so they shouldn't be damaging anything if we begin to solder on them. We'll start with flowing solder onto the start and select pads. That's followed by soldering the individual wires to each one. Once those are soldered, we go ahead and remove the tape and flip over the entire ribbon connector. On the back, we repeat the same process with the one shorter wire for the power pad. Once we have all of those soldered, we're also going to add in the black backing piece that will help prevent shorts on the back of the screen. We can go ahead and flip the entire ribbon connector back over and re-secure the tape. From here, I began adding my buttons to the console. I then went in and brought my motherboard to the console. I performed a few tests with the multimeter to make sure that I was soldering to the right vias, as I wanted to solder to them instead of having wires potentially get in the way of the membranes and ruining the feels of the buttons. This way I can keep the wires shorter and out of the way of the buttons. To solder to the vias, I simply flew a little bit of solder into them. From there, I shortened up the wires and trimmed less than 1 millimeter of wire, just so it would be sticking into the via enough to make contact. From there, I soldered them both into place. Now I added in the membranes and flipped the motherboard over into place. I went ahead and put in the 3 screws located at the bottom before connecting the connector at the top. Once I had the connector connected, I soldered the one power wire to the pin labeled 2 on the power switch. This will give the LCD kit a more direct line of power straight from the batteries. Now we can go ahead and place the lens onto our console. If you turn your console on and you notice that the screen isn't lined up, there is a hidden OSD that you can use to adjust the screen. Simply hold Start and Select for 5 seconds and you'll enter adjustment mode. Pressing Start and Select, you'll see the screen shift up and down. If you press the touch sensor on the top, you'll notice that the brightness does not change, but if you keep pressing Start and Select, you'll see it start to shift left and right. If you press the touch sensor one more time, you'll be entering what we believe is a hidden third mode that would have been used for the light bar, but because this kit doesn't use the light bar, we had to press the touch sensor one more time to skip this feature, and we'll be back to adjusting up and down. When you're done and you have your screen centered, you can go ahead and hold Start and Select for 5 more seconds to save your settings. At this point, you'll notice that your touch sensor starts to work as well again. From there, you have a fully assembled and working kit. If you want to see more content like this, please be sure to subscribe, join our Discord linked down below, and check out our wiki for more guides like this.